All right, so now that I spent the time finding the slope and the y-intercept and writing an equation for all four functions, I should be able to go over to these questions A, B, and C and fill them out pretty quickly. Which function has the graph with the y-intercept farthest from 0? So I'm going to make a line right here, and I'm just going to say here's 0. We'll go 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3, and let's put these y-intercepts on that number line and see which one is the farthest away. So function 1's, their y-intercept was -3. That'd be right here. Function 1. Function 2's y-intercept was 2. So that's going to be right here. Function 3's y-intercept was a -1. So that's going to be right here. And function 4 had a y-intercept of 4. So I have to actually add a spot on this number line. Function 4. So which one was the farthest away from 0? It looks like it should be function 4 because it is 4 spots away from 0. Function 1 was 3 spots away from 0, so it's close. It doesn't matter if it's going left into the negatives or right into the positives. What matters is how far away it is, how many spaces away is it from 0. And in this case, this one is 4 spaces away, so I'm going to pick function 4 for letter A. Letter B, which function's graph is the steepest? Now, when you're talking about steepness, you're talking about which one is the closest to being vertical. Now, none of them are vertical lines, but which one is the closest to being vertical? So I went ahead and I took all these equations and I put them on Desmos. And I have 4 lines right here. I'm saying which one is the closest to being vertical. Now, purple's pretty not steep. Green, a little not steep. Red and blue are close. Let me compare those. Red was function 1, which had a slope of -4, and blue was function 2, which had a slope of 5. Now, steepness actually has nothing to do with positive or negative. It really has to do with absolute value. So which one has the highest rise compared to its run? Absolute value, in this case, absolute value of -4 is 4, and the absolute value of 5 is 5. So it doesn't matter which one's positive or negative because we're going to do absolute value anyway. But in this case, the 5 is the biggest absolute value and would have the biggest steepness. You can tell this blue line, not vertical, but it is very steep. If you were to be like skiing or snowboarding down a mountain that looks like this, it'd be extremely dangerous. So I'm going to go with, that was function 2 that had the slope of 5. That's the steepest slope. So I'm going to pick function 2 for that one. Letter C, which functions have graphs with y-intercepts greater than -2? So I kind of already did the work for this question. Here's -2. Anything greater than -2 is that way. So function 3, function 2, and function 4 had y-intercepts that were greater than -2. So I would pick 2, 3, and 4. The only one that was less than -2 was function 1, which had a y-intercept of -3. So telling you it is worth it. Do the work ahead of time. Get your slope, your y-intercept, write your equations. Then when you have all the information to deal with, go through the questions A, B, and C.